everybody, welcome back to my channel, Beauty on a Budget. My name is Heather, and believe it or not, but I'm going to say Happy New Year, because like I said, today is January the 11th, 2023. I know it's been quite a few months since I've posted anything on this channel. I've just had so much going on. October, November, December have just been so busy. They went by so fast. So for this channel for this year, I'm going to do what I did last year, which is my annual cleaning my house, except this year is our transition year. We've already have two of our girls who had moved out. They've graduated high school. They've moved out. My son, he's graduating high school this year. He's going to be 18 in a few months. He's planning on moving out by, sometime during the summer and into the fall. And then that just leaves, we've got one kid still left at home, only for a couple more years. So this house is getting really too big for us as the kids have moved on. It's a good size home when you've got 4 kids, teenagers. It was good. It was perfect. But now I said within the next 6 months, we'll be down to like 1 kid at home. So obviously 6 bedrooms for a family of 3, it's just not right. So we do know that in the next year and a half or 2 years, we will be moving. We know where we're moving. So it's, so when I'm doing my house cleaning this year, it's really downsizing. We are going from a 4,000 square foot, 6 bedroom, 4 bathroom to about 900 square foot, 3 bedroom, 2 bath. So it's like everything be half, except the amount of space is even going to be less. But I said that's okay. So this year when I'm doing all my cleaning and going through, I am really being really strict with myself. The amount of furniture that we have in our master bedroom right now and what's going to fit when we move to the other house, I think the only thing that's going to fit is the bed. So I know I've got to go through all my clothes. I've been doing that. I've been getting rid of stuff I don't wear, going through all my seasonal stuff, saying, well, how many shirts of the same color, how many pants the same style, same color do I need? I love blouses. But again, it's like I found 4 blouses that were all like a similar style, all with the florals on them, all within the same shade of pinks and blues. And it's like, do I really need 4 if I'm moving? I'm going to have like no closet, no dressers. So I'm getting really strict on myself. Now, the thing is when I move, my craft room will not be this little office area that I've got here. My craft room will be the whole basement of the other house. So my craft room space actually triples, but everything else like goes the other way. So I have to go through everything. And so that is what I'm starting with today. That's what I'm working on, is I'm going through every closet, every drawer, everything. I mean, I did it last year. I went through, I got rid of so much stuff last year. Stuff I didn't know we had, stuff I didn't know we had duplicates of so many things. And so I figure this year be a little bit easier because I've got more focus. I mean, last year it was, oh, we've got to start thinking about downsizing. I know we're going to be doing it in a few years, but then suddenly this year, the last couple of weeks, my husband and I have been talking about it, and it's no, we are going to have to move. This house is just not right for a family. Like, as we have less kids, we feel wrong that this house isn't being used. It should have like a bigger family in here. I know there'd be some single person be happy to have this and wants a house this size for one person. But we're not that type of people. So we are really going to be downsizing. And so that is what I'm going to be doing this year on this channel, as well as still just all my other stuff. And so since it is January, I'm going to be doing all my calendars again. So I've just got everything here laid out in front of me. I'm just trying to figure out what I can move without knocking stuff over, because I was working on stuff and my desk here is just so full of extra stuff. I'm just trying to find my calendar. I think I'll just have to pause for 1 second because I think I'm going to knock everything over if I grab that book. Okay, I'm back. So for myself, for keeping track of everything that happens in a day, I use calendars. I have so many different types of calendars and planners that I use every day. Just move my camera down. I'm just going to move all these aside because this is all my calendars that I use every day. So I've got a big stack like this. So I'll start with the one on the bottom. There's these big calendars. This one is split on me, but it's the big monthly calendar. These are just these desktop calendars. I like these ones. I get them from Dollarama for about $4. So every month, you know, you can flip a new page. It's got everything spaced out, and then it even has the little sticky notes, which kind of color coordinate with here, which I kind of do like because I am a visual person, and I like the idea of having these sticky notes. Now, let me see. I don't really use these sticky notes. I just like the idea of having them right here for quick reference, quick notes if I think of something. So that's this one. The main ones that I use are these big planners like this. It's called an agenda. Okay, so these big daily planners. So when you open it up, I just don't want to lose today's page because that's really important stuff for what's happening this week. But oops, I can get to the beginning of the month. So every week is laid out like this. Now, when my kids were little, I had this one I used to get from Chapters or Indigo, and it actually had like every day, but it had like columns, and they had actually 5. It was like Mom's daily agenda or daily planner, but it had room for, so I would write up across the top, and I would have my name, and then I'd have each one of my kids' names. So it would say Mom, and then all my 4 kids' names, and it gave room, and so I could keep track of everything that was happening. It was really, really important when you've got kids in more than one school. There was a couple of years where I actually had kids in 3 types of schools. So I had elementary, middle school, and high school students, and their days off were never the same. I used to mess up on that one all the time. So finding like these big planners like this where I keep track of every kid and then all their before and after school activities as well. I said, like, this is I only have 2 kids at home, but you can see how busy. So for this one, because I only have 2 kids, so I wrote my daughter's name and before and after school, my son's name before and after school, and then anything else that's important for me, I've got, you know, I can write all the extra appointments and stuff on the other side. So I really need, you know, calendars. I found it really helpful when I had 4 kids and all their stuff that was happening at school, like everything. And then of course, big one, and then I have my little mini one that I keep track of everything in, and this one I keep in my purse. So like all these little things are written here in pencil. That's usually their no school days. Yeah, that's all. No school, no school, no school, no school, no school. That must have been October. And then there's November. No school, no school, no school, no school. Yeah, they had quite a few days of no school in November as well. In December, yeah, I just write no school across the last week of December or the first week of January. So I mean, I do use these little ones for in my purse. So I always have a couple of these because I always end up losing them. So every January, I'll actually go to all my calendars and I'll go through every day and write everything out, like school, what's happening, everything. And then I have this larger one. This one here I also keep in my, with my laptop bag. It's the same thing. It's a little bit bigger, easier to read. Because sometimes, you know, like you got to write a lot of things down, and I find sometimes this little mini one doesn't give me a lot of room to write things. So in this one, I just write if there's appointments and no school. This one I can write a little bit more detailed as to what's happening, and it gives me more lines. I like the calendars with lines. I like this one here. I know this was last year's calendar. This is an extra one because I always buy extra calendars. But it has the different lines on here, so I can actually keep track of various different things instead of just one big empty square to write things in. With the lines, I find I can actually write a little bit neater, more information. And this is just another one. I bought this kind because I thought it'd be handy to have, but it's got the magnetic. My fridge is not magnetic, but I do have a whiteboard, so I use this on the whiteboard. Again, it just gives me a quick overview of whatever days, kind of like this. I just write down what days the kids don't have school or any important stuff. So like I haven't even started writing these. These are just brand new calendars. I just got this one for on the weekend. So this was also from Dollarama. I think it was $1.50, I think, for this calendar. And I know this calendar here was from Dollar Tree, so $1.25 for this one. And they still sell these ones this year. This just happens to be an extra one from last year. I didn't realize it was from last year. I'm just pulling up my calendars. But that's okay because, you know, use the paper. The back of the paper is really good paper for crafting and other things. And then I also have this one here, and this is actually just a little weekly calendar. So this is actually, I bought this one from Dollarama. This one was $4 or $4.50. It was a little bit on the pricier side for calendars, but I like these weekly calendars or monthly calendars where you can just tear the pages off from one week to the next week. Because again, this one, it kind of lets me see what's happening for the whole week at one quick glance. Instead of, because sometimes when you get the whole month on there, then it looks just so busy, and I have trouble focusing and saying, okay, what's happening today? What's happening tomorrow? With this, I can easily find the day of the week. On the monthly ones, I have to like kind of like scan through the whole thing to find what day. So I do like these weekly ones. And I know this is not really this is still an agenda, but this is a little bit different one. This is actually one I use for my day home. So I'm just going to pull this because I got receipts sitting here. So this one I actually use for, no, it's just one of these. So this I actually use for receipts for my day home. And I find this really helped keep me really organized with my day home. Again, I'm into this organization and reorganization of my whole home. And I found since this has helped me with my day home, I'm starting to use this type of a system for my own personal use. So this one is just every month and all the receipts that go with my day home, all my expenses. And then it also has, I'd really like to find another one of these, but I don't think I will. It also has this little notepad that pops out, and it's got room for, you know, a pen and a pencil. And so I have here is just a basic grocery list of everything that I keep in my day home. And then when I go to get a few items, I just kind of use my checklist and think, do I have those items in my day home or not? So it was just, you know, and craft supplies and things like that for the day home. It's all here in one. So I don't actually rewrite this list out. The list is actually just written here once, and it's just a quick scan. So when I'm at the store trying to see, do I need something? Am I out of something? Quick glance, I can quickly read it and know whether or not I think I need it or not. Let's put my receipt book back in here, or I'm going to lose my receipt book. Okay, I think that's about it for calendars. I think I had another calendar, but I've got another one that I use. Of course, I got all the calendars behind me. I've got like this little whiteboard here. I've got another whiteboard over there. I've got this calendar here. And just because I'm one of those people who's very like a visual person. And then of course, I've got this. I mean, it's not really a calendar, but it is like these clipboards. I have so many clipboards. I love using my clipboards. I write out things that I need to do or get, and I could take these to the store, and I can put my, like this was my grocery list of what I needed for this was the Christmas, yeah, this is my Christmas grocery shopping trip list. So what I had to get for Christmas dinner. And then, so in here I've got my recipes that I was going to use. So I've got my recipes written down and what cookbook they were in, what page number they were in. And then I had my shopping list here. So I knew what I had to pick up to get everything. So I love like notebooks. I've got notebooks of every size. I write stuff down. Let's see, I've got another coiled notebook that I use. Let's see what's in this one. Nothing in this one. This is just a blank notebook. Like I said, I'm a visual person, so my crafting looks messy because I can see all my stuff, so I know what I have. I think that's all I have for agendas and stuff at the moment, but now I'm gonna have to go through and write everything down. Oh, I do have 2 more calendars that I use downstairs in my day home. One is it's more like this, and with these lines, what I do is I find I can write the kids' names on here, so like kind of like a sign-in sheet. Plus, I have an actual sign-in sheet, but I have this double system, so I won't miss a day because I have done that. So having the double system kind of helps keep me, more focused. And I have another larger calendar, like one of these monthly calendars like this, with the bigger ones. And I use that for the month, so I can just write down all what we're doing for the whole month. So it'll be like the food-wise, crafts, anything like that. If I was going to take them, like I know we go to the museums on Saturdays. Not so much in the winter. But in the summer, and then same with like there's always stuff at the libraries happening, and so we go to various things like that. I could take some of the kids to that, my own kids to stuff. If I find something that looks like something fun that my own kids would love to have done when they were younger, then I would write those down on my calendar. So that way it's kind of like if we get to it or not get to it, but if I have it written down on my calendar, at least I'll remember. Because I have no idea how many times my kids say, but I told you we had to do this. And I said, did you write it on my calendar? I'm like, no. I said, well, if you don't write it on my calendar, I'm going to forget. I have so many other things that I must remember in a day. And you're going to tell me something that's going to happen in 3 weeks from now, and you expect me to remember? It's like, write it down. So then they started to write it down, and I think my kids got into the whole planners and stuff as well. Just because I've been doing it. I found it really helpful when I had, it started when there was the kids going into elementary and middle school. Really important, really needed to have the calendar system down to know when I realized that there's different schools have different days off, and for where we live, they have the grades K to 8 have their days off, and then there's the K to 12 days off, and then there's the 9 to 12. So usually the elementary and middle school usually have more closer days off, although sometimes the other school, like their days, parent teacher interviews and stuff like that might be a little bit different, so I'm not quite sure. It's been quite a few years since I've had kids in elementary and middle school, so I just kind of know from my experience what that was like. But when I had kids in high school, middle school, and elementary, that was a big challenging couple years. Just trying to get that one all straightened out, because I messed up on that one so many times. Who had the day off? I took the wrong kid's day off. Like messed up on that one a few times, but that happens if you don't keep it written down, or if you do have it written down, if you don't look at your calendar. Like I do write this down. That's why I write it down on multiple calendars, because I'm not going to look at my one calendar every day. I'm also one of those people who, in my phone, my phone has that calendar. I don't use it for everyday things like my kids have before and after school activities. I'm not programming my phone with those ones, because that's just too many reminders, too many times for my phone to go off. I'm going to miss something. I'm going to forget about it. So I use my phone calendar for birthdays, anniversaries, important holidays, and appointments. So appointments may or may not get written down on like this calendar here. Appointments would be written down in this one, and my little baby one, the one that's always in my purse. This little one that keeps in my purse. Now I do like these ones, these little 2-year planners. They do really help, because especially with the kids, like a school year actually falls within 2 years. So I found that some of these really do help keep me a little more organized. That's also why I like some of these calendars here, where they call them like the mom calendar or the student planner, where they do from the August of the 1 year all the way through to December of the following year. So it's like a 16-month calendar, which really has helped too. Or the full 2-year planners, because the school years kind of overlap a bit. So that is just a quick introduction into where my channel is going this year, and a quick introduction into my calendars. As I said, I've got my calendars out. We're now into January. I'm not going to have to write all this stuff out onto my calendars, which is pretty easy to do. I've already gone through. When I got this one, it's really funny. When I get my new calendars, I go to the school websites and I look up all their non-school days, like just their basic holidays. I mean, I know there's going to be stuff that the dates may not always be 100% correct. I found a few mistakes one year. It looked like they had just recopied the one from the previous year days off. So it looks like, oh, there's no school on a Sunday. Well, there shouldn't be any school on a Sunday. It was just, like the way that the calendar, they didn't quite change some of the dates. But that was okay. That was really funny to find. That was a few years ago on one of the school websites. But what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So I do this. And then I used to bug my kids. They used to not like this when they were younger, but report card time in April, May, whatever it was, when they bring out the report cards, April, May, in there, they would always have a school supply sheet for the next year. Like if your kids, it was always fun. And so May long weekend, I used to have fun with my kids, and I'm like, they'd be, if they were, especially if it was a weekend and they were with their dad that weekend, and they'd come home and I say, well, I went school supply shopping. I've already got most of your supplies for September. They're still in, still have like another month or so of school left, and I've already bought their school. I said, well, the school supply list came in, so I went and got your school supplies. It really does help. I had some extra money. You go through the list. Markers, highlighters, pens, I don't buy that early, but like a lot of the basic stuff are on sale at that moment because the store needs to clear out the old school supplies to get ready for the new supplies that will be coming in a couple months. So I found that that May was a really good time to buy school supplies for the next year, especially when you're purchasing for 4 kids. It really made a huge difference in some years. So but that used to bug my kids. I'm like, oh, here's your report card. I got your school supply list because that was more important to me than their report card, so I could know what they needed and know what I had to purchase or not, and it gave me more time to get their supplies ready. So I used to bug them, but so I guess I'm going to be going through and writing out all my calendars now today. As I said, today we're already well into January. Today is the 11th. I don't know where the weeks have gone by, but so again, I just wanted to say thank you so much to everybody who's watched my videos and subscribed to my channels, and I'll see you all in my next videos. Bye.